Welcome back to another fantastic episode of I'm Gonna Talk, You're Gonna Listen. I'm your host, Chance Paladin, and Ringo the cat is here too, my co-host. Uh, I kind of I don't have like a set of topics for this one, which usually means it's going to be a dumpster fire. But I guess sometimes it just helps me to just talk through things. And I think things are just getting nastier and nastier, and there was kind of another really bad Berkeley event the other night, and sometimes, not every time, but sometimes shit hits the fan is precluded by things popping off in Berkeley. So Berkeley's a shithole. It's all kind of like the symbolic home of free speech. Um, you know, it just occurred to me that we're supposed to be seeing the Northern Lights again tonight, which could be um, one of the many topics. This is partly cloudy. There's something crazy going on with the ionosphere again. Uh, um, there's like a level 4 storm hitting right now. That's pretty crazy. Hold on, I'm gonna promote my book 1 second. I'm currently up to 9 reviews, and how I've been pitching my book to people lately, because I tried different pitches to see which one works the best, is I tell people, I thank everyone who left reviews, and then I say my book, Bunker Basics, and I say I'm currently up to 9 reviews. If I get to 25, I'll write a follow-up. That seems to help like sneak my engagement in a little bit without ruffling too many feathers. I do notice I'm just getting ignored a lot, and I think it's still wild to me how people can have so much normalcy bias, or they've already bought so many books, or they already think that they know it all, that they just can't, I guess, can't check my book out for whatever reason. I know $20 is $20, and goodness knows that if I have to spend $20 on something, it just about drives me insane unless it's something that I really need. I did just grab one called "In the Heart of the Hunt: An Honest Guide to the Outdoors." Oh, it's by the Outdoor Analyst, and he has a YouTube, The Outdoor Analyst. And so far, I'm really, really liking this book. It is short, but it's priced pretty fair. And it's just about like deer hunting and like firearms and the different cartridges. And I think that's just so cool. So I grabbed that. Oh man, I'm sorry. There's just no way to get a chair that's not loud. So I can't wait to check that out and leave it a review. But I was watching a YouTuber, and he talked about how he's bought 500 prepper books or something, and it's just like, that's cool, but how do I get them to look at mine, right? There was another guy, like, he had a store, and and I was like, how do I get my book in your store? And basically his response was like, talk to people on Facebook about it or something. And it's like, the cognitive dissonance is insane. He has a store, he has books in his store, and there is no way to get books in his store. And he's a prepper guy with a prepper channel, and it's just like, how is this shit so hard? And this, before you think that this is a complaining episode, this is kind of just part of where my head's at right now. I'm also thinking a lot about the DJI stuff, the drone stuff, like I talked about in my last live episode. A massive chunk of that episode was just about drones. So if you're interested in drones, check that one out. But I keep reminding myself and trying to remind other people, it's not just the DJI drones. It's possible that it's going to make all of their cameras unsellable, and their microphones unsellable. And potentially, who knows if it's going to make their peripherals unsellable too, which would be stupid. But the fact that we have to go through this to begin with, the fact that this security audit, which is already stupid, but then like things that have already been approved could get retroactively unapproved. I've just noticed that people are just irrationally fearful of electronics in general, and then they think they sound smart and cute. I had a commenter that I'll deal with in another episode to say, oh, the new UV and the new AR5RMs are bigger, so there's room for the IDF to put explosives in them all, or Chinese to put explosives in them all, or something. And I'm just like, people have been saying that shit about Baofengs for so long, and it is so infuriating. And then for them to just spout something like that and just throw that out to the universe, it's just like, it's insane. I don't even feel like I should have to even address that, but people put that stupidity out into the universe. Somebody else is going to read that, and it's just going to give it more credibility. And I wish I could say to those people, like, if you think you're so damn smart, crack one open and look. If it's PET, like, there's enough documentation online to know that you're not going to get into the PET and self-destruct. It has to. It's so frustrating to me just how stupid. Not only just like ignorant, but how like just projectively stupid and ignorant and just bliss like people are. And so you've got these drones that you can't buy. The best drones on the market. Period. These Osmos, shout out Livingston Man, that got me onto these Osmos, the cameras, these action cameras. A fraction of the price of a GoPro and better in every way. I'm only mad at myself for not catching the sale. Sometimes they have Action 4s for like practically giving them away, and they make GoPros look like dog shit. It's just, the whole thing gives me a headache. I know, we live in a world where China is probably going to take over, Taiwan in some form or fashion here pretty soon. But you got to use the technology that you have while you have it. It's the same thing with AI. I get so sick and tired of people saying, I don't trust AI. I don't like AI. I don't trust AI. I don't like AI. I don't trust all this. Just XYZ. Like you name it. I don't. I don't this. I don't that. Or it's the same thing. Like just trust God. Just rapture this, rapture that. God is my prep. It's not to like. That's not to slander the Lord's name. It's infuriating to me that people will just do anything. People will do anything to not have to prep, or they'll sit there and they'll try to discourage people by saying just make your own battery banks. But they don't have a single video of how to make a battery bank. Just make your own. Just make your own, dude. Just why don't you do a video of making your own? I used to get into it with people all the time. Just use marine batteries. Okay, where do you get them? Like the reality is that all the cheap secondhand marine batteries have been sold out for years. Unless you live next to a marina, you do not have access to secondhand, marine batteries. Same thing with golf cart batteries. And like, how many secondhand golf cart batteries do you really think are floating around? Not a lot. You want to use Southern Prepper one has a great. I can't remember for the life of me which ones he uses now. They're not Battleborns anymore because I think Battleborns shit the bed. I can't remember what the new one is, but there's really good high quality, like 100% legit aftermarket batteries out there if you want to get standalone batteries and not and build your own unit. But these people just go, oh, it's so easy, do XYZ. Well, okay, when did you build yours then? I've been living off grid for 10 years. Okay. So you built yours 10 years ago? Like, things just never change? Like, apparently, like, supply and demand. Like, yeah, 10 years ago, you probably could get secondhand for super, super affordable. I have no doubt. But, like, the thing is, just like with everything else during the Rona and the Overlander pieces of shit, just like, and all the stimmy checks, just wiped everything out. And we're going to have the stimmy checks come and, like, wipe everybody out, all the supply, wipe all the supply out again. If these stimmy checks do happen. And I guess here's my question. Here's my question of the day for all of you. If someone, if Orange Man gives you $2,000, what are you going to do with it? And I think a lot of people are going to say pay their bills because everybody's probably effed right now. But not everybody out there is poor and struggling. So if you're not poor and struggling, like, I'd like to hear what you'd want to buy with it. And I'm kind of torn because having more batteries is always nice. Hardening the homestead's always nice. Crypto, retro games. Like, my go-to used to be retro games, but I think all of the other people, with their stimmy checks, like, permanently annihilated the retro market. I guess I'll go outside. Maybe I'll take y'all outside really quick and see if the northern lights are out there, or if it's just too overcast. I can't tell. Alright, it's freezing cold outside. And the train's going by. Oh, the sky's definitely pink. if I can do this. Yep. Yep, the sky is pink. That is the opposite color that the sky usually is in the middle of the night. So, there you go. Something's definitely wonky-do with the ionosphere again. It's absolutely clear out here. And the whole northern part of the sky is pink. One of the things this camera might be able to get pictures of it, I haven't tried yet. Wow, that is so cool. Yeah, a lot of those cool ribbony pictures that you get, I think, are like time-lapse. I missed the last couple times, but we had like half the sky, for whatever reason where we're at, it's pink. I don't know if that... Wow. People are shooting guns too, I guess, because that's the thing to do in the middle of the night. Yeah, we had like big stretches halfway through the sky last time we were able to see it. And I'll tell people, I went my entire life, I have lived here my entire life, and I've never seen these. And now it's turning into something that happens like almost every couple months. So I'm going to pause this and see if I can get any pictures of it. Alright, well, I couldn't get any pictures of it, but the sky is definitely pink, which is cool. So I don't know. Since things are just weird. Like the civil unrest in Berkeley. Multitasking, but I wanted to talk to you guys too. The reason, besides the fact that civil unrest is bad, just in general, you know, that whole thing about Antifa being, you know, domestic terrorists and blah 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 was totally fake. As I told everybody, it was just meaningless, empty. It had no teeth. They said they're going to RICO this and that and the other, and it was all a joke. You know, they didn't all get black bagged and tossed in vans. It's just infuriating, and I wish everyone would realize that when it comes to civil unrest, they're really on their own. The anti-Christian sentiment is just massive. I haven't rerun the metrics in a while because, oh, there we go. Ringo's back to say something. What is it? Ringo boxing. You know, crypto's taking a giant crap. The stock market is screwed up. You know, the Fed is making things worse. Then they're talking about doing a 50-year mortgage. The 50-year mortgage thing is insane because all it's going to do is screw all the poor helpless people that are too stupid enough and they do the 50-year mortgage thing. Like, the obvious answer is to just let everybody do a one-time refi at a much lower rate with no fees, or extremely low fees. That would honestly fix a massive amount of the problem for now. while they figure something out. There's just so many things on my mind, and I don't even know where to start or begin or middle or end or anything. The snap thing, went through for like one night for like a couple states, and then immediately got shut off. And then Orange Man tried to claw the money back. It passed the Senate. Now it needs to pass the House or something, or it passed the House, and now it needs to pass the Senate. And the Democrats are just notoriously brain fried when it comes to even following their own leads. And even though Republicans said that they would allow a vote on insurance premiums coming up, that's usually like just an auto thumbs down, and I think the left knows that, and they chose this hill to die on, as I've said before. And since they chose this hill to die on, they're going to be cannibalizing their own side, and they've already started, death threats against their own side. It's just crazy. This whole thing is crazy. It is a giant uniparty, but the difference is, everything getting substantially worse and everything staying the same as it, slowly slides off a cliff. Like, we're headed to the cliff either way. It's like, do you want the slow way or do you want the fast way? And I think, man, I don't even know how to like predict what's going to happen anymore, besides the fact that there's going to be grid down. Like I said, we've already lost power 4 or 5 times in the last month. There's going to be grid down. Man, just like there's already civil unrest, so just expect it to get worse. I think Gray Zone said that he's estimating that the color revolution is not going to start until 2028 now. One of my friends says they think Taiwan's going to get hit next year. I think a lot of people think that something major is going to happen in Taiwan next year. Like on China Uncensored, I think that they've been calling next year the year for quite a while. 2026 is going to be like the year. Maybe some of them did say 2028, but like their navy, just their massive merchant navy, their drones, their drone carriers, their air drone carriers. China's just pumping just an exponential amount into that, and I know a lot of people just get frustrated and tired and tune out the geopolitical stuff, but between the lack of 155 shells, so that plant that blew up a couple months ago had just got a contract for 155 shells, and the U.S. is just going to be in an absolute world of hurt if we have to go into a major conflict, because crap, I can't remember if it was Marv or who it was. I think it was Marv that said, like, they might just have to start telling Ukraine no, solely based on the fact that, like, we might actually be very nearly out of munitions. Holy crap, Marv is actually online. So, Marv was having a hell of a time going live, and people were saying, is that because of the CME? I guess on Zero Hedge it says rare cannibal CME set to slam Earth, raising risk of ground level radiation surge, threats to critical infrastructure. The CME news right now is just insane because as our ionosphere just keeps getting weaker and weaker, we're just going to keep getting slammed with these CMEs. Which I know is right out of that movie, the Core. We just watched the Core, I think yesterday. Core is like legit. It's a B movie, but it's like legit. These CMEs, like these level 5 CMEs, could take the grid down. I think that it's going to be a lot of things. I think we're going to get hacked, and there's going to be quote unquote lone wolves and CMEs. Like our grid is just going to get pounded from every angle, and everyone in Marf's chat is talking about everywhere in the U.S. they can see the northern lights again. People are saying Tennessee and South Carolina, and it's just that just shouldn't it just shouldn't be possible. Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota. I guess that's a little bit north. Obviously everybody north can see it, but people are saying all the way down in California they can see it. Like something's if you're on the fence about prepping, like it doesn't get any more obvious than this. Yeah, someone in the chat says that X-Class is going to interfere with wireless devices. A lot of people say that a lot of people say nothing ever happens, but what that guy said, there's going to be cell phone stuff. Like these CMEs hammer the cell phone functionality, and I'm assuming that they hammer the satellites too. Like this shit is real, and people just get so used to saying nothing ever happens that like they turn a blind eye when shit really does happen. And I can, if this CME goes through tomorrow, I guarantee you that all the phone systems at work are just going to be fucked. So Leanne chat says, I hope the Starlink satellites don't get messed up from solar farts. That's funny. Like, obviously they're all watching somebody else's stream, and I have him paused, but we're all still saying exactly the same things, even though they can't hear me at all. Because they're watching someone else's stream, and I'm not streaming this live. I'm just streaming this watching Mark's chat. Like we're getting into it. Like this is I'm not sponsored by Blue Eddy, but like Blue Eddy's sale right now is great, and a lot of their batteries are expandable. A lot of people ask, what battery, company to get. The ones that don't advertise very much, you get a better bang for your buck. There's a couple of top tiers: Blue Eddy, EcoFlow, Goal Zero. And as much as I hate to say it, Jackery, Jackery's newer stuff. Am I forgetting any? I guess I should say Opus, aka Oops. They're landing some pretty top tier stuff. So you got to do your due diligence, but realize a lot of these cheap fly by night battery no name China copy, no name are like death traps. So like you could lose your house and all your preps and potentially your life with some of those cheap cheap China copy batteries. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is going to be a really short show. Maybe I just don't have a lot to say, but income is going to get tight. I heard even just within the last day or so, like unemployment's going up even higher. And the Fed is just like silent while they upgrade their $2.5 billion building. You know, there could be hyperinflation next year. It's just like jobs are not coming back this time. This is the difference. This is the difference between Orange Man's first 4 years and his 4 years this time. He cannot bring jobs back this time. There are so many fake jobs that on paper got created, and I think by him sacking the person in charge of the job reports, I think he sacked him for the wrong reason. But I think the result is still that the fake numbers are gonna, come out, but that those fake numbers coming out are gonna cause a crash. I've heard more people say, like, if you have a job, hold on to that job for dear life. And I thank God that I was able to make the moves that I wanted to make to get slotted in where I'm at. I know a lot of people aren't that lucky, and I still cannot figure out how anybody's making it right now. And all I can suggest is that you shut off your Netflix and your Spotify. You shut every single damn thing off that you can. Save every penny that you can. Stop going out. Just do everything you can, and buy my book. But also, just like, I don't know if you've got to mow lawns or repair stuff for people. I don't know. Weld things for people if you're a welder. Like, just whatever you can do to just keep squirreling money away. And I would stay, unless you're going to get Bitcoin, I would stay super, super far away. I would stay super far away from all the crypto except for Bitcoin. It's just like, in Bitcoin, to just remember, like, you're not investing it, you're just trying to hold on to some of your money somehow. Remember, not your keys, not your crypto. And if crypto's like too much of a learning curve for you right now, and I suggest learning an AI if you can. There's plenty of free AIs out there to try to learn. And if you find, like Grok, you can use Grok like 20 times an hour or something. Yeah, people in Mark's chat are saying all their Starlinks are starting to lag out. Yeah, if you've got a Starlink, I'd be interested in hearing from you if these CMEs are knocking out your Starlink. Also, if you get headaches out there, if the CMEs give you headaches, I had a pretty bad headache earlier, but I thought maybe it was just from me doing a really poor approximation of trying to to jog outside to do my cardio, try to do some cardio. Like, sometimes there'll be crazy CMEs and I'll get headaches, and sometimes there won't be crazy CMEs and I'll get headaches, and I have no idea. I know my wife has like an absolutely horrible headache right now. I know they're going to try to confuse people and say that there's aliens and stuff too. They're just going to just whatever they can do to distract people, but weird. I don't know. If my house was relatively safe and I had cameras, I guess what I would spend my $2,000 on is batteries and solar, portable solar. You know, assuming you already had all the Second Amendment stuff and bandages and gauze. I think it's still going to be like a slow burn. But I think what's going to happen is just like more and more people are going to get unemployed. More and more people are going to be homeless. So then they're going to do this 50-year mortgage thing. And this 50-year mortgage thing is just going to like bleed the rest of the U.S. dry. I think everyone, this is just, it feels like to me, like if you were going to just bankrupt the living shit out of the entire United States through interest rates, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And if you do have a side gig out there, the advice that I would give you is you've got to like unapologetically put yourself out there. I'd say it requires some tact and some navigation and some finesse. But like, you've got to put yourself out there. And I think what you'll find most of the time, this guy says if we fire Kamala into the sun, will the internet come back? That shit is pretty funny. Human sacrifice is not a joke, people. But also, that's funny because that was the other movie we watched was Sunshine, where they nuke the sun to get the sun going again. You got to put yourself out there, and I think what you're going to find is not rejection. You're going to hear all the stupid excuses. You're going to hear everyone's stupid excuses, and then you can learn to deal with that. You know, I think I spent years. That sounds stupid and hyperbolic and stuff, but I think I spent years just learning how to deal with everybody's bullshit. Oh, how much money do you make on those? Oh, that means they're not going to buy it. And you gotta, like, it's none of your fucking business. How much money do you make on those? How many do you sell? Like, all those are just, they're not going to buy your shit. Or like they start suggesting you other things. Now the thing is, like, sometimes people can have like the most obvious advice on the planet, and it you know, their advice does not buy your book. But like sometimes I'll tell you, I wanted to get this really big YouTuber to, you know, check my book out and tell everybody about it. And he goes, why don't you try putting it on sale? And I looked at the email and my mouth just like dropped. I'm like, why? Like, sometimes you forget about that stuff. Those, like, and sometimes it takes like another prepper author to just kind of smack you around and be like, you dummy, put it on sale. And but then other times you just get ignored, and you're like, well, this person keeps wanting everybody to support their thing, but they won't support anybody else's thing. And I think sometimes people just can't. I think they can't handle things going both directions. Like they get laser focused on their own project and forget that they're a part of a team, or they just don't want. They were a part of a team and just don't want to be a part of the team anymore and want everyone to support their project. And it's just like, and then something happens to them, then they want everybody to give a shit about them because they did something nice 4 years ago. It's like a lot of these prepper YouTubers, they change. Like that person that you subbed to years and years and years ago is not the same person. Like some of these people have really fucked up personal lives, for better or worse. And it's like, oh, I think that, well, maybe just in general, just talking about side gigs in general, you've got to have backups to backups to backups to backups. And there was 2 or 3 really great guys on here on YouTube that I used to talk to about side gig stuff all the time. And these 2 or 3 guys, crazy hustling. They're always hustling 2, 3, 4, 5 side gigs a piece. Nothing at all to do with prepping. But I guess, the universe decided to, the algorithm decided to connect us. I could not stop talking to these guys, and like every second of their videos was just like gold. And it's not that I didn't always agree with it, but it's like I wanted them to just keep going because the content was just so good. So good. And then like they all disappeared again, and that just like really bums me out. But who knows? Maybe they all won the lottery and ghosted. But like they had so many good hustling or side gig, backup gig stuff, and like one of the things I used to talk to them about is like never stop setting up more side gigs. Never stop expanding your side gigs, with your goal being that get your side gig to pay you what 1 hour's worth is, of your main job. That might not be a lot because your main job might suck ass, but that's how I tell people to start. And then if you might not be able to get that side gig to give you 2 hours worth of a paycheck, but if you can get it to give you 1 hour's worth of a paycheck, you might start another side gig, and that side gig might get you another hour's worth of a paycheck. And then you just sit there and work your way up from there. And you keep trying to expand those, because like I've talked about before, like Patreon, my Patreon was shit for years, and then finally my Patreon popped off, and I realized Patreon was taking like 60% or something. It was so bad. Their customer support was terrible, and their people could DM you and you couldn't delete it, and you had to like block them and you couldn't delete it, which means you'd see people's toxic DMs forever. And you could only refund like 3 months worth. So if somebody was in like a really bad patch, you could only refund 3 months worth. And that happened to a friend of mine. Her roof fell in a storm. And I could only refund her back 3 months. And you might say, well, why not just give her the money back? because Patreon had already taken 60% of it, or some just insanely high amount. And that was the end of it. That was the end of any support I ever got for her, and a lot of other stuff happened, but just fuck Patreon. And then so I restarted on Buy Me a Coffee, and through the grace of God, got everybody over to Buy Me a Coffee, and Buy Me a Coffee picked up. And then one day, every single person on my Buy Me a Coffee canceled. And kind of my point to all that is not that, I'm some big shot. Oh, and then, fucking DLive. DLive stole $40 from me. They decided $40 doesn't seem like a lot, but think about how many, hours of pay that is at your job. They just decided to not roll over their lemons to diamonds of their bullshit currencies and stole $40. Amazon stole over, as much as I know, they stole at least $20 to $25 from me, and I'm still fighting to get that back. They said somebody's order was canceled even though they got the book. And that just calls into question how many other books I haven't gotten paid for. And I think this was all due to that AWS East outage. Like, you have to just constantly be evolving and changing. And I tried to make a video game. Actually, I made a bunch of different video games, but I released a video game on itch.io, and I sold a couple copies and fizzled out, and the engine that I used to make it, Unity, totally shit the bed, and I didn't want to use Unity again, and I don't want to learn yet another engine. You have to just keep, and I used to write fiction, and then I switched to nonfiction. And my nonfiction book has sold as much as my entire fiction series combined. It's just like you have to, I tried selling mugs, but I couldn't get anybody to buy in to even completely get it off the ground. I tried to do an art book. I know I'm only ever sell 2 copies of that. People want it for a price that's less than it's even printable for, and they just don't understand. Like, people just don't understand. But there's other people that are not poor that money is a non-issue, but getting in touch with those people is a real challenge. All these social medias try to restrict your influence without buying in. YouTube makes you buy in, Amazon makes you buy in, Twitter makes you buy in. They just do everything they can to force you to buy in first. And then once you buy in, they give you a little bit, and then they start dialing that back too. To the point to where, people get their blue check and they try to advertise on Twitter, and then their advertisements get banned. It's like, well, I already bought in. And they steal your money. That's what happened. I used to be on Google AdSense. They stole my money, banned me. And then I used to be monetized on Twitter. On YouTube. And I had a video with over 100,000 views, massive amounts of watch time. They stole at least another $50 from me there. It would have been higher if I'd known what I was doing with advertising at the time. Did I mention I got a new cat? We got a new cat. The new cat is trying to get out. She's ruffling up the I think she's pulling the rug underneath. I think she's pulling the rug to another room. Anyway, my point to all that is, if you're going to do side gigs, which you should be, like, don't ever rely on your main gig. Work on as many side gigs as you can. Help everybody else with side gigs and just build a network and hope that people don't forget about you when they make it big. And the more you can help people not lose money too, the better. You know, so if you can stop people from doing stupid shit with crypto, the cat drama. You know, save people from doing dumb shit with their money too. Like, make sure they don't get, oh my gosh. You know, making sure they don't get scammed. Ringo just smacked the door. He's like, stop taking the rug, sissy. That rug is for this room, not your room. Put the rug back. All right, Ringo, let me... Oh yeah, she's pulled almost the whole rug into there. Good job, Ringo. Give me the rug back, sissy. This is hilarious. I can't believe she did this. Give me the rug, sissy. Give me the rug, sissy. She goes, no, don't take my rug. Baby cats are just hilarious. You tell her to not take that rug anymore, Ringo. He goes, that rug is for the hallway, sissy. Alright, yep, Ringo, you sit on the rug so she can't take it. Yep, you sit on the rug so she can't take it. Okay, so my main side gig, which is my books. I just keep trying to tell people about my newbie prepper book and hope that people check it out. I think, I finally got over my imposter syndrome. I think it's a pretty good book. And I'm not saying these other preppers aren't bad books, but what I've noticed is, for better or for worse, a lot of the other indie newbie prepper books out there, not all of them, but a good chunk of them are actually much smaller, like 60 to 80 pages. This is crazy. My mic keeps cutting out. I actually don't know now how much I keep missing every time I try to re-record this. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's the CME knocking out my microphone. Right, yeah, this is like my third or fourth time trying to record this. Something keeps screwing up. So if I had something to say for newbie authors, strive to try to make $5 or $6. If you're writing paper copy, paperbacks, if it's just going to be one topic, 60 to 90 pages is fine. Try to scale it back so you're only making like $5 to $6 though, because you need to be focusing on getting your algorithm up, getting your reviews up. Sorry, my voice is toast now. This has gone out so many times. I've re-recorded this like 3 or 4 times, and now my brain is scrambled. I don't know what's going on. So I guess that's it. Kind of a shitty way to end the show, but I didn't expect. I don't know if it's the CME or what the heck it is. I don't know. Maybe the worst part of this thing hasn't even hit yet. But keep up with those. Keep looking for side gigs. I know there's a lot of people in their 50s now that are just like, I'm screwed. What do I do? You know, there is still, you know, tech out there hiring. And I will say there's a lot of people that would rather have somebody in their 50s than somebody in their 20s or even 30s now. Not to be ageist, but that's just like people's preferences. And write a book. Everyone's got something interesting to say. I know it's like daunting to write a book with all the AI BS, but like if you market your book and tell everybody that it's not AI, and you price it right, and you keep it to like a topic that people are interested in, and don't try to make it about everything. Like even, you know, my book is like pretty themed, and like my follow-up is going to be pretty themed. And one of the other authors that I really look up to said, like, your prepper book should be trying to add something new, and it should be trying to add it from a different angle. So the book I picked up, you know, that I was talking about earlier, you know, it's just about hunting and calibers and you know, dressing a deer and stuff. And I think that's cool. And if you know, that's 60 pages and it's, you know, $15, you know, The Heart of the Hunt, An Honest Guide to the Outdoors by Outdoor Analyst. Like, I think, you know, I think there's a lot of room there for little, you know, like one topic books. You know, actually, you know, pretty much every newbie prepper book I have is like one topic. And I think there's something so cool about that. You know, Defensive Preparedness by Roaming Prepper, the SHTF Tactical Drone Manual by Don Shift, you know, United We Stand by Southern Prepper One, you know, Building Your Emergency Preparedness Network, Planning for an Uncertain Future by Spike's Guides, and so many more. Like, so many of these prepper books I have are just like one topic, and, you know, around like the $15 range. And like I was trying to say, like, if you pay $20 for it better be a better book. The same thing with like my Baofeng book. Where is it? Yeah. Oh, the book. It's in that stack, isn't it? That book always has a problem because it like doesn't fit anywhere else. But you know, Nuclear War Survival by Southern Prepper One. It's like one topic, super short. Yeah, Gorilla's Guide to Baofeng Radio by NC Scout. It's like one topic, you know. It's funny, like a lot of those like do everything books are just kind of junk. And they're really expensive. They're more like, you know, novelty. They're like trying to give people like a false, I've said this before, they're trying to give people a false sense that they could really survive. And I think there's another YouTuber that I'm trying to court to have him check my book out, because I would really like his opinion on it. And a lot of his books are like one topic books. And I'd really like his opinion, because it sounds like he's read more prepper books than anybody else that I know. I just got to keep bugging him over and over and over again. Anyway, I'm just going to cut it here because my brain is scrambled after it stopped recording over and over and over again. The cat was playing. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. Hopefully you guys didn't miss too much. Otherwise, this is going to be really disjointed, so I apologize. And I'll talk to you all later. Like, subscribe, and buy my book. And leave a review if you already bought it. Talk to you all later. Bye.
Pretty soon you'll know why. The sun's freaking out and we're all gonna die. C-M-A. C-M-A. The sun's about to fart and nobody knows why. Whatever a coronal is, it's about to eject in your eyes. So cover them up if you look in the sky. The aurora borealis is in the wrong spot, and we're all gonna die. C-M-A. C-M-A. And we're all gonna die. The electronics are fried. We tried to save them, or at least some tried. Hopefully you have some prepper food tried, because the sun's up to 11.